The oil drilling.
It is 7 p.m. and we will begin our Monday, March 21st, 2022 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to our petitioners who have graciously decided to come and be part of our meeting. Well, let's begin with the roll call. Chair Beth Ashbaugh. Co-chair Carolyn Marks here. Commissioner Heidel.
Present. Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Cudmore here. Commissioner Huntsman
Here.
Council member Katie Lopari-Shu
Here.
and Parks Administrator Lou Lansing.
Present.
Let's begin with the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which was February 13th, 2022. Have you all had a chance to use the minutes? Any discussion? Miss anything? Would someone please make a motion to approve the minutes from our February 14th, 2022 meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Second?
I will second it.
Okay, thank you. Lou, would you like to begin with the Parks Administrator report, or should we?
Why don't we go to the petitioners? Petitioners that are here, so they don't have to sit through a whole line.
Vote on the minutes. You need to vote on the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry. Can we vote on the approval of the minutes from February 14th? Unanimous? Okay. So we have three petitioners here this evening: Dr. Bradley Fast, Alice Tabor Church, and Chris Shields.
Chris won't be here.
Oh, okay, Chris, okay. Why don't we begin with Dr. Bradley Fast. He did send us correspondence. Did everyone get a chance to read his letter?
I shared your letter, Bradley, with the group. Just to give you a little background.
Did everyone get a chance to read that? Okay. Would you like to add to that, Dr. Fast, and talk a little bit about?
Sure, and I realized that I might have written it differently had I known it was going to be circulated to the group. But I just moved into Ward 2 on Union Street this past fall, and the park is so beautiful. Love it. We live right on 16 Union Street, the entrance to the park off of Union, and I'm a big fan of basketball. And there's this amazing, gorgeous court there, perfectly finished, great glass backboards. There's no one. And I know, I moved into the neighborhood after whatever controversy there was about the court, and I would like there to be lines on the basketball court. And I know that there's been complaints about noise. Well, I don't mind the noise at all, and I believe that the tennis courts are just as noisy at times as the basketball courts. Hartwick has intercollegiate athletic competition on those tennis courts that are quite noisy. Even just this afternoon, I was coming home, there's young high school age kids yelling on the tennis courts. I don't mind it at all. I love seeing the vibrant energy in the park, more people that are there, better for the community, better for the area. And I've heard that perhaps one of the reasons that there's no lines is it was a compromise to try to deter people from using the basketball court, maybe because of noise or foul language or something like that. Well, why are there lines on the tennis courts? basically, I think, trying to deter certain kinds of people, well, that's certain kinds of people. And I believe that's probably discriminatory, you could probably suggest it's discriminatory along the lines of race, age, class, things like
Do you, that is one of the issues that we are addressing via our Wilbur Park survey. I don't know if you've had.
Natalie took the survey.
I did.
Okay, you did take the survey. We are waiting on the results of the survey to see what people's concerns are, what they'd like to see. And I guess we'll have more information at the end of that survey. We haven't really ruled out any possibility of not putting lines on the court.
I thought it was important, Bradley,
Yeah.
that the group see your letter and hear from you. I really sent the letter because I always worry when someone says they're gonna be there and then sometimes they forget or get busy or whatever. So I thought it was important. The commissioners have heard, they've read letters and heard from the opposition, if you will. I thought it was important that they hear your point of view, especially since you are also a Union Street neighbor. So,
and not quite as close to the basketball courts,
yeah.
but I am close to the tennis court.
We don't know what we're gonna do, not just putting the lines down, we made it a family play space, we put up signs for no music. It wasn't necessarily to deter people from playing basketball there, it was deter loud and inappropriate language from happening on the basketball court, because that seemed to be the biggest concern of the neighbors, and understandably so. So we are waiting, like Carolyn said, we're waiting for the survey. And we'll look at the results, we'll talk about it here, and then I will likely meet with the powers that be in city government, our parks administrator and our public works people, and we'll try to come to some kind of compromise or something. I'm not sure what we'll do at this point, because we're not gonna please someone somewhere. So.
Are the, now that the tennis courts are open, is that particular
Basketball
space?
nets are up.
The nets are up and
Yes, the nets are up.
court is open.
Unlock the tennis courts, we have to unlock the basketball court as well. We have not locked that off. So everything's open now.
Okay.
So let the games begin. We'll see what happens. So I don't know. I'll keep you posted if I hear from people. I did to follow up on Bradley stuff in the correspondence. I did get a letter from another Union Street resident who was asking specifically about why, I can't remember her name, it's on here, on my post report in correspondence. Let me just get to the post report.
I believe it was Glenda.
Glenda Bolton's letter. She sent a letter, I think I included it in your packet, inquiring why the basketball courts were locked during the winter. Her grandson really wanted to play there. So here's another person that lives on Union Street that supports the basketball facility. So, you know, someone's not gonna be happy with this one way or another, but we'll do the best we can. Would you like to add anything else, Bradley?
You know, I understand that it might be a point of contention, so moving it somewhere would be a fine solution too, if that's in any way possible. But yeah. It's just so nice to have it there, and you know, it's such a beautiful court, and it's a shame to not have lines on it.
I think one of the, to me, one of the most important points that Bradley made in his, that Brad made in his letter was that this is his best source of exercise and recreation, being a family person himself with a small child. So I think that deserves consideration too. You know, that's what we want. We want people come to the park to be able to burn off stress or calories or just have fun. So I thought that was.
I maybe de-emphasize my own deep personal interest in playing basketball.
Well, we thank you for coming and sending us the letter, as well as addressing the concerns that you have, and I'm sure you're not alone. Again, once we get the results back from the survey, have a discussion here and see what we can come up with as a final solution to this. Okay, Brett?
Yeah,
Did you?
is the survey still open?
Yes,
It is.
Okay, for how
yes.
much longer?
today is, makes 5 weeks, it's gonna, Carrie's gonna do a little report, we had anticipated letting it go for another 2 weeks. So I think that that's probably what we'll do, and then we'll look at the results and, you know, I don't know that we're gonna have an answer in a month. But you could certainly reach out to me in a month and see if, where we are in the scheme of things. I have no problem with sharing that. I don't know that we'll have a determination by then. When's our next meeting, commission meeting, Carrie?
First Monday.
It is the first Monday,
April 4th,
yeah.
so that's only 2 weeks.
We'll at least have a chance to look at, maybe look at some of those results by then, and we'll go from there.
Thank you all so much for hearing
Thank
my
you.
minor concern. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate your input. Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, you certainly don't have to. I get up.
I think I have a little one.
Yeah.
We understand. If
Escape,
you would like to leave.
But I did bring a friend in case, Michael, if you want to add anything.
No, it's really fascinating to see how you guys operate and when you come down. Pandemic kept me from investigating the workings of local government, but I played on that court and it is absolutely breathtaking. I could believe how amazing it is, but it's like trying to play basketball. Someone that likes basketball, plays it all the time. It saved me when I was working on my PhD, completing it, and it's like trying to play on a court without lines. It's like when you play basketball, it's just like, oh, it's brutal. It makes no sense. There's like no lines. It's like, it's really disturbing when you're out there. But like, yeah,
Especially.
amazing at the same time,
It's
but-
such a nice court.
yeah, it's so smooth. Everything's so nice. It just needs lines.
Those courts were just recently surfaced.
If you'd seen it before it was done, you would have said, good.
Well, I was trying in the summer before to get some exercise. I went up to the one, I forget the actual name.
The
of it.
upper level.
The upper level one, and I was happy with that. And he was telling me, hey, got that other court there. Like, what are you kidding? I didn't even know it was there. And I actually went there and played and with a couple of guys, did some pickup games, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so nice, but without lines. I was thinking to myself a couple of weeks ago before he said, it's like, so go out there and like take some chalk. You know, like try to, like,
We do have 2 basketball courts that are one completely redone in New York Park, you know that, right?
yeah, it's so close.
I know, it's
mean,
not-
it'd be
it's
like
like, I
walking
know,
over
I know.
from Cedar Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually Ward 3, but it's like on
Oh,
Cedar,
okay.
so it's like so easy to walk, you know.
But it is
Plus,
nice to
there's-
have a variety of facility right at your back door. Yeah, it really is. I think it's important to hear from everyone how they feel about this.
Yeah, it's
We
beautiful.
do our best.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for coming. Great to meet you.
Nice meeting all of you. We're seeing you again.
Yes, see you.
Take care. And then our next petitioner is Alice Tabor Church.
Yep, Ally is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Hi, Libby.
Ellie, you want to talk a little bit about your
Um,
request?
yeah, so I am an executive board member with Bigger Dreams Productions, which formerly was Stuff of Dreams and Bigger Boat Productions. This year, last year rather, they merged to create a not-for-profit in New York State corporation. And we produce shows primarily in Foothills Performing Arts Center. And I have co-founded a Shakespeare company. We used Muller Plaza to perform A Midsummer Night's Dream back in 2019. And it was a big success, but unfortunately all of my folks that were helping me moved away, do other projects. So I've joined forces with Bigger Dreams to start bringing back Shakespeare in the Oneonta area. And I have written a letter of intent or a proposal to the council to see if we could utilize the bandstand in Uwa Park the last weekend of July and the first weekend in August for a free Shakespeare event. We're planning on producing Much Ado About Nothing, completely non-binary, gender neutral casting, free for everyone involved. We would be asking for donations for those who come, but completely free to the public. And there are a lot of other details in the proposal.
Yes, we did. see
Yeah.
that.
You are gonna sell some blanket seats, right?
Yeah, so we have a few general fundraising ideas. So one being a special reserved seating option. So for $10-15, you purchase a blanket and it's laid right in front of the bandstand. So families have a space. I've been to a lot of outdoor theater before, and most of the time, if you're not there at 12 p.m. waiting for your seat, it can fill up really quickly and you will have to sit in the way back. So we that's our only option for reserved seating and a small concession stand. And just water, little snacks, that kind of thing.
Any commissioners have any additional questions or concerns? At this point, do we bring this to the full council? Or can we make an approve,
I'm
make
sorry,
a motion to approve this request?
Well, I'd like to make a couple points before we move forward with a vote of any kind.
Okay.
Number one is I'd like to, if you all support it, I'd like to hold off, I'd like Ally to hold off until all of our returning parks users that are summertime have a chance to get their applications in. Because as you might imagine, it's been really almost 3 years since we had everybody back in the park with COVID. So some people that haven't returned for 2 years may want to come back. And I have to leave dates open for them to choose. I've not heard from the fishing derby, for example. That's a one-day Saturday event. I think I can put them on another weekend. I'm not concerned about that. But this is 2 consecutive summer weekends in the heart of the summer in the park. And not that I don't think it's a wonderful event, I think it will be, and I support the event. But I do want to hold off and give everyone till the date, the deadline date. They can apply after that date, but I can't guarantee them the date they had in the past until if they don't apply by that date. So I just want to do that. And I'm also going to recommend that if we approve it, that it does go to council for their approval as well. Because they're the ones that, you know, they're going to want to know that this is happening 2 weekends in the park and make sure that they don't have any questions or anything on it. I would imagine, I mean, Katie can speak this more than me, I imagine they would support events like this is the kind of things we want in the park. But they may have questions or concerns that I don't know about, and so I'd like to go to them. I'd just like to know what Katie thinks, if Ally should go and present for them. What do you think, Katie?
So I have 2 questions, I
Okay.
think. One is about dates. What is the cutoff date for the,
It's in here, I think it's the first Friday in April, it's in my parks report, the date.
okay, I know you usually tell us, I'm sure you've told us many times. So that would be April 1st, which is only a couple of weeks.
It's not April 1st, I think it's the first Friday in April. Is that April 1st?
It is April 1st, but
All right,
if it's
well-
April 8th, that's only 3 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, I can respect that. I think that it comes from a place of wanting to make sure that we can guarantee that events that have happened and been successful in the past are able to get into the park. When I think about the fishing derby, how much overlap in terms of space or space needs that would have with this, I don't know. I would imagine not a whole lot, or is that in Hodges Pond?
It's in Hodges Pond, it uses all the area around
So
Hodges
that's
Pond,
big,
it
yeah.
uses the steakhouse.
Okay, I was thinking it was at the mill race, so.
I don't completely understand Ally's, are they gonna be performing for the whole time? This is a lot of time here.
Oh, no, it will not be the whole.
You know, and it's very possible that if the fishing derby requested one of these dates, if it was the only time they could do it one of these Saturdays,
Right.
I think we could make it work. The fishing derby, like I said, is the least of my concerns.
Okay,
I think, and I think they'll work with me if I said to them, and it's hard because in the last 3 times the fishing derby has been in the park, it's not been a consistent date. It's when their service people can be there, the Lions Club and the Bass Association. So if it was the first Friday, first Saturday in August, I'd say that's gonna be a problem, but it fluctuates, so I don't think the fishing derby is gonna be a problem.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was my question, was in terms of like having conflicting events in the park, but if they use 2 different areas of the
Right.
park, you know, can we accommodate both? Because I know that we've done that in terms of like the NASky games and, you know, for example, the Eco Fest, I think is coordinating with the
Right.
NASky game, so that came to mind. Then also, I just wondered how long the date, the cutoff date is. What I would say is, you know, obviously, we have a council meeting coming up next Tuesday, which is prior to April, but maybe a presentation. Well, I guess here's my question, do you want this to be approved by the commission prior to going to council? Because if,
I think it should be.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
my
because
feeling.
we're gonna meet on the 4th anyway. So, because what I was thinking is if you were to come to the first meeting in April of the council, then, and I was thinking that parks wouldn't meet, but we are gonna meet before that. So potentially we could hold off on a vote until the next
Okay.
meeting, which would at least be closer to the cutoff date.
Yeah.
And then the council meeting is on the 5th, I think,
Is that gonna create a problem for you, Ally, with advertising or anything?
or like not knowing.
No, right now in the process, we are holding auditions starting the 8th. So, yeah,
we have
we,
time.
yes, yeah.
So, we have a little time, I think that makes sense.
Does that timeline work?
Yeah,
Does that timeline work for you too?
Yes, so your meeting is on the 4th.
The meeting of this.
Parks and Recreation is April 4th.
you won't need to come back to a commission meeting unless you
No, no.
want to. I can let you know what the commission says.
Okay.
And,
Go ahead.
and then the council meeting is the following day on the 5th, so that one you would want to attend and give like a little presentation like you did here.
Okay.
Are there usually, it's been, what, now going in 3 years, events that have requested that space as well as the bandstand those weekends, and it's been so long, I can't remember the timeline.
I mean, it's mostly, I will tell you traditionally, what Ally has requested has been available.
Okay, so
So
that's.
I feel pretty good, but every time I say something like that, it becomes, somebody comes out of the woodwork that I forgot about.
Okay.
And I don't, and since it's been so long since we had everybody back in the park. I do have all the big events already, not all of them have applied, but I do have their dates. I have the Daily Star Flea Market, I know the date, it does not conflict. I have, obviously Pride Fest, obviously doesn't conflict, it's in June. I have, obviously the 4th of July is not a problem, we have the Eco Fair will not conflict with this. Yeah, all of those things. The only thing that might be happening at the same time that I know, I'm guessing, is if the Outlaws are successful, we hope they are, they could be playing postseason games. Now, I don't know if a baseball game with music and all the kinds of things that go with a baseball game might interfere with your performance, but we can let you know what time the games are, and maybe you could shift your performances to accommodate that.
We do have, we are able to utilize Foothills as a rain space. Our production is pick up and go, so it's sort of leave no trace, if you will. So we do have a rain venue. So if a game gets scheduled one of those days, we can always move to our rain venue.
Okay,
And-
the rain venue is Foothills.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And the times that I've listed, proposed on the sheet, those are loose, so that would include any setup time. I think we decided that our shows on Friday and Saturday would start around 6:30 to use as much natural light as possible. And the Sunday show would start probably around 2 or 3. I was entertaining the idea of doing 2 shows on Saturday, which is why there's a larger time frame on Saturday, but not entirely necessary. So if something like the fishing derby was happening on a Saturday,
Yeah.
I don't know if our getting in there and setting up around the bandstand would interfere, but that.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Please don't worry about the fishing.
I don't know, my little brother won the fishing derby when he was like 5, and he still has that trophy.
It is an important event. So, and certainly the Lions Club and Bass Association do a great job of it, so.
They do.
I think in understanding that a little bit more, I think it's possible that it will. So,
I mean, I'm really excited about it.
Me too.
So, yeah, I'm enthusiastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
and Ally, you will have to do through Carrie's office and the city clerks, get the bandstand stage.
Okay,
For those time periods, make sure that they don't have, I think I gave the dates to Carrie so that we wouldn't give them to anyone else, so.
yeah, and I'll just need information. I don't know if you normally charge a fee for the bandstand, or, okay, so we'll have to chat about that.
So we're holding off until,
So we'll wait.
Till our
Okay, so we
April
don't-
meeting.
Okay, till our next meeting.
Just to confirm that.
anything else for Ally, or Ally, do you have anything else for us?
Confirm the dates, July 29th, 30th, 31st, and August 5th, 6th, and 7th.
You said auditions start the 8th?
Yep. Don't worry, Libby, I'll make sure you know about them.
And once you're fully approved, you'll do an application with me, you'll do the bandstand stage with Carrie,
Mhm.
with Carrie's office. And, I'll need a certificate of insurance from your organization.
And can that be our own insurance, just with the city listed as, okay.
Yes.
I just we already have a policy, so I didn't know if we had to get another
I'll
one.
explain what you need to do with it. It's-
I work insurance, so I kind of know.
Your insurance company, will you can call them and say, I need a certificate, they'll be fine,
Perfect.
they'll understand.
Okay.
I guess my only question is, what is the process, like, if we can't do these dates for some reason, and maybe we don't wanna cross that bridge till we get there, but I'm like your planner, I'm not a planner, so I like to know. Like, if we can't do these dates because the fishing derby is gonna be. Is that like, okay, so we can't do Shakespeare in the Park, or are we going to, are you guys able to be flexible with us to be able to figure out something where we could do it?
So what I have talked with the executive committee about is if we can do one weekend at Niwa, but the other weekend's not available, we might just use another space for the second weekend, just because for our actors, it's very hard. You know, it's the summer, everyone's doing things, so sticking to a rigid show date. I'm sure we would really appreciate using the Niwa space,
Yeah.
because it's like perfect for Shakespeare in the Park. But you know, we have a couple other venues that we can look into if one of those dates doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like
I really
the type
think
of
it's
event
gonna,
that
I
would
think
love
it's
to
gonna
see,
work.
so I hope you guys can be in the park too. Would you consider doing it in Muller Plaza, like for one of the Saturday street closures, if that becomes a thing?
I would love to. We ran into some issues that I'm not sure if we would, as a company, would be able to face yet. Most of the issues were that the sound was a lot. I know that the roads would be closed, so that would be a huge help. But yeah, it's just harder. You know, getting there, making sure the space is open to rehearse. Not that we'd be able to rehearse on the bandstand, but I would take like measurements and tape out the stage and stuff. But yeah, I would be interested in doing something like that. It's just, I know the city has certain rules on like amplified sound, running power, so.
Well, yeah, that, we may wanna look into that a little bit, I mean, fingers crossed, right, this works as intended, and we don't need to do any of this. But, the city for the Saturday street closures has stages set up, and amplified sound and things like that, and so we might be able to. I know that they're like booking talent for that, I mean, I don't know how long the shows are, but I wonder if that's something that could be integrated into this sort of system on Main Street that has already been built. So, I mean, it might be like a really cool draw.
And then you've got a built-in audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know who I could reach out to about that? If not, I can check in another time.
I can try to find out, do you know if Katrina?
Is
Oh,
this a
yeah, okay.
destination or beyond?
Sweet,
Katrina does, okay.
yeah, and her email is katrina@destinationaudience.com.
Okay, perfect.
So,
It's hard to remember.
Yeah.
yeah. Cool, yeah, because I mean, even if, hopefully, like I said, this works out, but that might be something going forward, like that might be a cool,
Yeah,
even if you guys could do like skit teasers or whatever,
Yeah.
like, come see us in the park.
yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely reach out, especially if we can't do double shows on Saturday in the park, maybe, earlier in the day, we do something
And
there.
Ally, could we keep in mind that, because if you pick Saturdays at 6:30,
Mhm.
if there is an Outlaws game, it'll be Saturday at 7 o'clock.
At 7.
And, talking about amplified sound, that's. gonna be-
Yeah, that
You don't want
is,
Shakespeare going on while the baseball.
yeah, I
All
can
that stuff.
definitely adjust.
So
it.
we may have to be flexible with that, but, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, is that after their regular season?
That's, the regular season ends like the 28th or 29th, but if they qualify for postseason and if they host, it could be one of those weekends.
Oh, I see.
And if Gary were in the room, he may say, don't worry about it, I don't know what, I don't know what he would say, but,
Well, I know that in the past, when we've had the Thursday night concerts in the park, and there's been a, game going on, and you hear.
it's distracting, it's distracting for
It
sure.
is,
I can hear it
And
about
I like
one
those
hour
sounds,
straight, so.
so it is definitely distracting.
Yeah, last year he didn't have any Thursday games. This year he has several,
Oh.
so back to the fishing derby, right?
Or
Yeah, exactly.
maybe Ally, you could do both venues, you could do one weekend in the park and then do Main Street as your other.
Yeah, depending on, how the scheduling works out and the votes, we have a board meeting next week. So I'll bring it to the board and see what their ideas are, this is mostly my thing, so they're pretty much okay with
Talk to
whatever I
Katrina
decide.
too,
But yeah.
Katrina may be able to give you, that's a really good idea,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to push you out the park, I'm not.
Oh, no.
Fishing derby or not, so.
Yeah. Listen, they got fish.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's just such a nice idea, that it's just a matter of finding the right venue for it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I loved working on Muller Plaza. We had a little deal with the Clarion where we gave them free advertising and they let us use their space to get dressed in, and that was really great, and we could just enter right from there. So yeah, it was just really, nobody could hear us. So, and also it was like 90 degrees, so that didn't help.
Oh, man,
But yeah.
cool, well, I'm excited.
Okay,
Thank
so.
you so much for.
Yeah, I just want to confirm, you all will meet again on the 4th. Louis will let me know about what the vote will be, and then, so I should prepare a presentation for city council on the 5th
That's it.
at 7 p.m. Okay,
You could probably give them something similar to what you've already given us.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
I don't think you need to do a whole new thing.
no slideshow?
Yeah.
Well.
I do mind the slideshow.
Enjoy that.
I'll make it a lecture, yeah.
If you wanna bring people in. Give us a little
Yeah, a little flash mob.
We don't want any more.
See what I can do.
Thanks, Ally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. And our last speaker is that your Chris Shields.
Chris Shields is with the Catskill Choral Society. He is out of town. He's actually returning from out of town sometime today. they would like to move the Gwen and Gloria's garage sale to New York Park. They think it would be a better space for it. So they're very interested in doing that on Sunday, September 11th. There is virtually nothing in the park on Saturday, Sunday, September 11th. He wanted Saturday originally, and I told him Saturdays were impossible. Soccer starts on the 10th. He didn't want to go after 2 o'clock when soccer's done, so we moved to Sunday. So he feels really good about it, and it's the same space. They will probably be asking for the bandstand stage because the Oneonta Community Concert Band does music during their event. They'll have tables set up along Francis Marks Drive. They'll do some food vendors, but mostly it'll be whatever they normally sell, you know, flea market kinds of stuff for whatever at the
As long-
Gwen and Gloria's.
As long as I got those walking tacos, I will approve it right now.
All right, well, I'll let them jump at you. I'm very sure that will carry some weight there, but, so you know, just wanted to see how you all feel about it.
Did they give any reason for moving it to the park instead of off Main Street?
He didn't elaborate, so, and I didn't ask.
Okay.
I didn't want to get involved in that. He just thought it would be a better space, he said.
Is that
And I had to agree, he was pretty nice.
Yeah, but typically, would Main Street be closed? I mean, again, it's been so.
Yeah,
close
they
for the
did close it
Great
for us.
Glorious.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
think
Main
many
Street can
years,
only
like-
be closed so many times before, and maybe this would be just a better spacing. You don't have to worry about going through that process.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any information about it, Karen? I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Is this, again, is this another event that we should, should we make a motion to approve it, but to send it on to council?
I think probably, you know, it'd be up to council if they want to have Chris there.
Sure, I mean, it's weird, right, because it's like an existing event, but that takes place on city property, that we're just moving the location,
Yeah.
so. I don't know if I mean, it couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Again,
You want Chris to come to a council meeting, is that what you're saying? Or you want to take it to council? and
Maybe
see what they
just-
say?
maybe, why is that to me? Maybe just, I don't know.
Well, maybe could we make a motion to approve or not? And then at that point, with the contingency of sending it on to council for
Yeah,
discussion
I
and
mean-
final approval? I can't imagine that they wouldn't
Yeah.
approve it.
I mean, at the risk of stirring a pot that I'm not willing to deal with, not mixing metaphors. But like, I'd be interested in knowing why. Like, why would you move off Main Street? It's been in Main Street the whole time I've lived here.
Yeah,
I
and
have a feeling if he comes to council, that's what people are gonna ask him,
Yeah.
you know, and that's sort of the only reason I feel like maybe it should.
I
come to
just,
council,
I
so
don't
we
want
can
to be in the
tell us
middle
why,
of that.
but
I don't
does it
want to be,
matter?
I don't want to be the person refereeing here.
Huh.
He requests me one. I mean, we don't ask others why they're moving or why they're gonna be in the park. We just go with their request.
Right.
I mean, if council wants to ask, that's a fair question for them to ask. And it's a fair question, but I don't want to call them up and say, okay, why do you want to come to the park?
Right, no, yeah, because it
I
doesn't
feel awkward
matter,
about
right?
that.
It's just weird to all of us, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially
He said it's a nicer
You
space.
said it's been for well over 20 years or more, that it's always been on Main Street.
I don't know, maybe it was a problem for the business owners. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Do you want to put it on hold? I mean, we have time. It's not till September.
sure.
I can ask Chris to come to our next commission meeting and you can ask him yourself if you want. And maybe he'll even offer it, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess the question is the reason really, is that gonna influence anybody's vote? Like, if my choices are no Grand and Glorious garage sale, or yes, Grand and Glorious garage sale, but in Newell Park, of course I'm gonna,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
I agree,
So.
I agree, is it gonna change your vote if you know the answer? I
I'm
mean,
curious, I'd like to know.
Yeah,
Like, if there's something going on that, you know, maybe there's an underlying issue that we might have something for us over. I don't know.
yeah,
just tell me
that's
what
a
you wanna
reasonable
do.
question. I'm hung up just because like it's not a new, like, yes, it would be a new park user, but it's not like a new event, so we don't need them to come and tell us about the Grand Glorious garage sale, because we know about it.
That's why I didn't come, I mean, he was out of town, and I didn't feel like he needed more explanation, because it is the Grand Glorious garage sale, you know,
Yeah.
that.
Right.
He's just going through the process because it's not
kind of
required.
redundant
Okay.
in my perspective, but I'm wrong a lot, so. It's just the truth, so.
Join the club.
And again, we're trying to bring people into the park with all different kinds of events and venues and reasons why.
Maybe it's as simple as there's shade in the park and Main Street, if it's hot, it's hot, I don't know.
Yeah, parking.
Parking for sure.
Parking,
Easier loading and unloading for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh.
I mean, there could be a lot of different variables.
Yeah.
We used to do it and it wasn't, and I think also, right, and
Mhm.
I think when you left, I think everybody had to wait till the end of the, well, I might not have that correct. So once you set up, just because you wanted to leave early, I don't know if you could. This way, if someone needed to leave, they wouldn't have to worry about asking. I've watched it and what participated, it is.
It's hard to get it done.
At times,
Yeah.
getting vehicles in, depending what kind of merchandise you're bringing in.
Yeah,
Probably a much better location. Easier to,
yeah.
just to move your.
I mean, I could be told that I'm wrong, but I would be willing to advocate, like, if you guys wanted to vote to have it in the park, to host it in the park, I think that would hold water, because it's not a new event.
Yeah.
I would just say,
We do
the motion.
make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, right, thank you.
I'll second.
Approve, vote, aye.
Okay.
Approve.
No one's opposed, right?
What's your actual motion though?
Oh, you need to state that.
Technicality, I know,
I don't know, I guess we approve the movement of Grand and Glorious garage, oh no, we approve holding the Grand and Glorious garage sale in Newell Park.
Okay.
On September 11th.
Newell Park on Sunday, September 11th. Okay.
So we've approved that. You'll take it to council committee
Yeah, I'll just put it in my
and let
report.
me know if they want Chris to appear.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll just put it in my report, at the next council meeting, and I can ask, does anybody, want the organizer to come and present to us, and
If they say no, we're good.
if they say no, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll let me know if
I'll
they
let you
want.
know.
Okay,
Sure.
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Phew.
I guess we can move on to correspondence, Glenda Bolton's basketball.
We already talked about Glennie Bolton before.
Elizabeth Evans,
Yeah.
senior
I
facility.
didn't put her letter in there, because it was an email exchange. She originally reached out to Greg. She very much liked, more, she likes shuffleboard in the parks because she feels like this is something seniors could enjoy. And there aren't a lot of things that seniors enjoy. She was interested in, shuffleboard, near the pickleball courts. And that makes a lot of sense. Greg reached out to her, and then I reached out to her, and I told her that I would just bring it up with all of you. And so everybody support shuffleboard in Newell Park, if we can actually add it.
Yeah, so we're basically talking about adding that to the Newell Parks master plan
not adding that to the top of the priority list, but
It's
saying.
in the master plan,
Yeah.
and shuffleboard, and I think there's a mention of bocce as well. I will tell you from a construction and maintenance issues, shuffleboard is an easier thing than bocce. Both are fun, but easier to maintain and have than bocce.
Okay.
And I think it's something that is being mentioned in some of the rural work surveys. I think it's something, I think shuffleboard would be the perfect place for shuffleboard, and Wilbur Park would be the old basketball court on the upper level. Because we could put a couple in there without a lot of work, easy for seniors to get to, parking,
Parking right there.
those things, yeah. Fun for people who rent the larger wing, et cetera, but we gotta wait till the survey is complete, so. All right,
And Benjamin Casola's letter fishing in Hodges Pond.
it went to Carolyn and to Beth.
It did.
It was in your packet. Carolyn responded. I think Beth responded.
Yes, I believe she did, yes.
Yeah. And I also sent, they shared it with me, so I also sent a letter to Ben, telling him a little bit about why the fishing events that we do have at Hodges Pond. And the fact that we have recently adjusted our no fishing policy to allow fishing in the millrace, as long as you comply with the DEC regulations. So I invited him, with his parents' approval, to come and fish in, because he was very concerned that he and his friends couldn't go someplace local and fish. And I said, now you can go someplace local and fish, so.
And I reiterated that in my response to him as well.
That's great. I was interested in this, catch and release fishing, people eligible for free or reduced fishing licenses. Do we do those? Free or reduced?
They have to do it through
To the
the
state, okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I just heard on the radio, and I'm not familiar with it yet, but I just heard on the radio that New York State has recently made their fishing regulations even easier to understand, so I'm not sure what that means, but I will look it up and let you know maybe next meeting if I can remember to do that.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to promote either, on our social media.
Well, we are still hoping to partner with the DEC. The DEC will be helping us with the Hodges Pond project. And part of the sort of agreement we made is we would also partner with them to get more of those free fishing days. They have like 5 or 6 free fishing days, have more of those events happen in Hodges Pond with their help supervising those catch and release programs.
Yeah,
That's certainly after our fish have a chance to mature, if we are restocking that pond, which is what we plan to do. But anyway, I agree.
yeah, and because again, it just remind people, hey, spring's here, fish in the mill race, here's where you can apply for a reduced license, like really
Yeah.
get that out there. As the weather warms up.
Yeah. One more, like to do those.
I know.
Lou, did you have anything else in your parks report that we haven't discussed yet?
Just a little bit about the community service project. We have a meeting
yes.
coming. One with it, Kelsey Rockefeller, yoga people, Orienta, they are hoping to do a community service project. I'm asking her group to do a cleanup of Wilbur Park, just go through and pick up trash. It's something they volunteered to do. I didn't assign it to them. And we do have a tentative date for that. And I can't remember it, but I will send it to you. It's gonna be, it'll be after our next Parks and Recreation meeting. I believe it's April 11th or whatever, but I'll get it to you. Stacy Harvey with AAA has volunteered to do the project. We have agreed on Saturday, March 7th, in preparation to have the Veterans Walkway all nice and spiffy for Memorial Day weekend. Just some updates on the Little Free Library. We are all good with Tina, Ann, and Frank. The Simone, I think you say their name. She's already submitted a waiver to me, so they're all good. They're not back in this area, the two of them, and, until May. So we will connect with them in May and hopefully find a place for the little caboose that Frank has constructed. I reached out to Bernadette Winters Bell tonight on the phone, or today on the phone. We talked about that, the telephone of the wind. We're gonna do a little bit more work on that. Bernadette is interested in donating a bench to have near this area. And obviously, if she does the bench donation, the language for that will have to come to the commission, will have to be approved by Greg and the commission. So you'll be hearing more about that, but we are moving forward with that as well. I've received a couple complaints from the dog park. And I've talked to a woman on the phone. She's very concerned that people are not cleaning up after themselves. We knew that was potentially going to be a problem. She's recommending that we put up more signs and put more waste cans in that area. We have every intention of ordering 3 new waste cans, and we will do that. We're in the works to do that. We'll get a few more signs. My feeling about signs is people ignore them anyway.
Yeah.
I hate to have signs all over the park saying clean up after your dog, when people know as you enter that there's 2 things: please clean up after your dog, and it's on all the waste cans that are in there. John Williams and Chris, that's it, and myself walked the dog park last week. I don't think it's as bad as all that. I walked around and did some cleanup myself, and I mean, I didn't.
She did, I witnessed her doing this.
I was more concerned with the leftover toys and pieces of toys that are left in there. I picked up about 40 tennis balls that were left in there, and torn up frisbees and ropes and everything you can imagine. And the reason why I'm concerned about those things is if the guys go in there to mow, those things are gonna fly everywhere. They're not gonna take the time to pick up all those things. And they're gonna fly everywhere, and then dogs are gonna be eating them, and then people are gonna be concerned about that. So we may put up a sign pertaining to that.
Yeah.
And I have a call in to the dog park committee to Diane with the dog park committee. She's one of the chairs. The dog park committee intended to do an April event at the dog park for the community. And we had originally talked about, fun things and some educational things, and Trevor is part of that committee as well. I think we could, have a little bit of educational about picking up after yourself, not just dog waste, but dog toys. We had that, you bring it into the park, you take it out.
Yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen.
But does it conflict with the fishing derby?
It probably won't, but because there's this like, thank you, we needed that. So the other complaint I had about the dog park was from a gentleman who has a little dog, and his little dog was bullied by a big dog. And he said, well, I had to remove my little dog till the big dog left. And I said, well, you made the right choice. Unfortunately, with all the dogs in the same area, that's gonna happen. And he said later on she went in and they were fine. And so he just wanted to know when the big dog park was gonna be open. And I will tell you, the big dog park needs some work for drainage. What we hope to do is do the work on the big dog park first. And what we may have to do is do the work on the big dog park and then close the little dog park and put all the dogs in the big dog park. We're gonna have to jockey that a little bit. Some of it we may have to close both if we're doing the kind of work where we have machinery there and we have to do it all at once. We may have to close the facility completely for a week or 2. We hope to not have to do that, but it may have to happen. And I know that people will not be happy about that, but the end product will be good. So we are going to have to put down more grass seed. We're going to have to, which we knew, we're going to have to put more stone dust on the stone dust trails because some of it has deteriorated, which we knew too. It's stone dust, it's not blacktop, it's going to fade.
It's your typical regular spring maintenance that you would have.
And,
anywhere.
and I did hear there was a little bit of an altercation between two gentlemen that had dogs at the dog park. And one was there with his dog and he had food, people food that he was eating. And another gentleman came in with his puppy, 5-month-old puppy. And the puppy, of course, puppies, ran over to the man with the food and jumped on him. And the man apparently kicked the dog. The puppy. This is all I'm hearing secondhand, so I'm just telling you the story. The gentleman with the puppy said to the man, "Don't kick my dog, you're not supposed to have food in here." And apparently he kicked the dog again, and then there was some shoving that went on. And I said to the person that reported to me that they should have called the police.
Yeah.
Shoving is never the right thing to do. The gentleman who had the food was in the wrong, the gentleman that had the 5-month-old puppy was in the wrong because they're supposed to be 6 months to go in. But anyway, shoving is never the answer.
Kicking a puppy is not an answer.
Twice.
Yeah, and the puppy, of course, is going to go to someone who has food, is going to think
Of
it's
course it's going to.
for it.
My 2-year-old dog would do that, so she would jump on something with food, especially McDonald's, it's one of her favorites. Anyway. So, just so you know that it's out there, so. Whole business is the Check event, Eco Fair has been approved by council. And so we're gonna move forward with that event on, what day is that, the 5th July. When is it?
Oh, yeah, it's July 9th, the weekend after.
It's July 9th, that's right, I'm sorry, that's correct, so. Carrie, would you like to say something about the survey? Take me off the hook for.
I'll take you out for a while. All right, so as of today at noon, we've had 337 responses to the survey. Of those respondents, 63.8% of them are city residents. 20% come from the town and 15 either indicated other or chose not to identify where they were reporting from. About 21% visit the park almost every day. Only one respondent actually out of the 337 has never been. So we're getting some good feedback. 90% of the respondents use and enjoy the upper levels hiking and walking trails out of everything that we listed for an available option. And as far as future planning goes, we'd like to see either additional pavilion and restroom areas, a disc golf area, or a volleyball court. 88% of the respondents for the lower level also chose the hiking and walking trails. And for future planning, we'd like to see a stone dust walking or running path, additional pavilion and restroom areas, and a tennis hitting wall. Couple little things, 70% feel that there was adequate lighting in the park. Nearly everyone who left a comment about the Wilbur Park pool, because there was a little free form text area at the end of the survey. Almost every comment related to the water temperature and it's too cold. And there were, I mean, like markedly an overwhelming amount of responses indicating their support of the installation of a disc golf space. So that's been just about every response has had some sort of, either they check it as what we'd like to see in the future, or they note it in the comment section at the end.
Wow.
So that one has been a big draw. As we said, we're completing week 5.
Yeah, almost perfect over.
Okay. We'll complete week 5 tonight at 11:59. We'll go into week 6 and 7 as long as everyone is on board with that. We are advertising and we are pulling and we're having people come in for those 5 t-shirts a week, but that doesn't seem to be the really big draw. People just seem to generally want to provide information. I think we've had 4 picked up. So tonight, 11:59, probably tomorrow morning, I will pull another 5 names and with your blessing, we'll keep it up for another 2 weeks and issue another round. I do have to give a shout out, if I'm allowed, to Destination Alianza and Katrina. They have taken the bull by the horn, maybe some of their own budgeting to promote the survey to get us a bigger draw. so. Thanks to them.
Katrina is wonderful. She
That's
was
great.
great. She also won a t-shirt. didn't
She did.
I hope so.
I was amazed. There are a lot of people that are just, they're choosing not to provide their email address.
Yeah.
So we've had, I mean, the first week, I think I had to draw, it was between 12 and 14 names to get just the 5. So a lot of people, I mean, the t-shirt is good incentive, but it's not, yeah.
Driving force that maybe we thought it was gonna be. I'm surprised,
Yeah, it surprises me. So.
just because they haven't seen them, how beautiful they are.
They see people wearing them, they're gonna.
I know,
Yeah.
You wait, they're gonna run to Jerry's office next fall and say, where's my t-shirt? Thanks,
Returning
Jerry.
out, sorry, you tag your in.
Thanks, Carrie.
So we are in agreement to keep it up for the
Yeah.
week 6 and week 7. I think so too. I'm still, word of mouth saying, hey, have you filled out the survey yet?
I don't think there's any harm.
I don't either.
For 2 more weeks. And I think, I think Carrie even mentioned she could put something up like, only 2 weeks left, make sure you get your survey in. I think that.
Yeah, and any
Bonus too.
hope there that would help. Great, new business, possible events in NEWA, Family Children's Movie Night concert.
Yeah, that's something we were talking about, and we were talking about it, Katie and Carrie and I were talking about it just last Thursday. And I think this could happen. And I think what we talked about, I think after you left, Katie, maybe you weren't there. We said, okay, now let's get some good ideas. Katie left. No, what we really said was trying to figure out when we could do a movie night and a concert. And Carrie was like, why don't we do one night, have the concert, then have movie night? Because movies, you gotta wait till it gets a little dark anyway. And you kind of have to find a time when the kids will stay awake, but if they're all revved up with a concert and then they see a great movie, I think it could be wonderful. So we're kind of thinking maybe the Thursday before the concert start. And what was the date on that, Carrie, remember? 23rd.
Of June.
Of June.
Okay.
And school is out.
Yeah, and
School
those are
is
some of
just
the longest
finished.
days of the year.
Yeah. And I think that gives us, that's the first thing. So if it were, heaven forbid, rained out, we could use the 30th because we don't have a concert on August 30th as the rain date, and make sure that we are going to give that to the children so that they get their movie night and their concert.
Who picks the movies? Is this in conjunction with Destination Oneana or?
I pick the movies, no, I'm kidding. Well, we have a movie in mind.
Have a movie in mind.
Go ahead, Karen.
You just don't want to say it.
I don't want to say it.
Encanto.
Yes. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, so kids movie, I mean, you have.
I haven't seen it, but I can't imagine that a Disney movie is not good. In fact, I think I'm just gonna buy it and watch it beforehand.
Carrie, tell again, repeat that, the name of the movie.
Encanto.
Okay.
Anything Disney does is good. And Katie's gonna help me find a musician. As soon as I can give her an idea of what we have for money. And I'm gonna wait until, I'm still waiting for a couple of contracts from my musicians. It's a good thing I'm waiting, because one just came in today and it's more than I can bargain for. Not terrible, not terrible. But I think we will probably have some money left out of that we can. And I have talked to Katrina about helping with movie night. I think, having Destination Oneana in on it can only be a good thing. Maybe we can get one of the service organizations to come in and pop us some popcorn to give the kids something.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think we can make it really fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be.
Kids are gonna sing along.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will.
some of them probably know, like,
If we can just get the weather to cooperate with us.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. I'm sorry, did you say something?
No,
We were lost.
No, I'm just thinking, the only thing I didn't check is, anybody have that, did I give you the outlaw schedule in that?
Yeah,
packet?
I have it posted on my.
Not, we have the,
I just need to double check and make sure they don't have a name on the.
we have
calendar.
the concert schedule as well as
But they have some Thursday games.
parks calendar for April.
What?
You do?
No, they are, no, they don't. They are away.
Oh,
Wait, no, they don't have a game.
on June
June
23rd.
23rd? Yeah, really, well, according to this, they do.
What? I have them,
They don't have a home game, maybe that's what you have.
yeah, this is.
I have an
the
away
home
game at
schedule.
Glens Falls.
She has
one.
one.
Gotcha.
Zero away.
They're here at the 20, they're
She has a
here
list.
on the 20.
She has. a
Yes, they're here on the
Yes,
24th.
gotcha.
I will reach out to Gary and make sure he doesn't use it to reschedule anything.
Yeah.
I'll tell him that we are gonna have an event, and I'm preferring that. I'm sure it will carry a lot of weight, but anyway, I'm sure. So we're working on that. A lot of collaboration from everybody.
Great idea.
I gave you all the next month's calendar, in the parks. I'm sure it was exciting for everyone. It was exciting for me to make happen. I think the biggest thing that's going on is, OHS tennis and Hartwick tennis, they are sharing the facility. OHS has been very gracious to allow, not to allow, I'm the one that allows, or we allow, but they are working with Hartwick to get Hartwick some times on the courts as well, because they have priority on the courts in the spring. So it's working, and it's good. It's a good thing. And Hartwick is very accommodating with that too. So that's working out. And I just wanted to mention that almost all of our big events are returning to the park. And I know that there was a concern about the softball fields last year. Softball has put their application in. They were one of the first early applicants. They're using all 4 fields 2 nights a week. And if they get a couple more teams, they'll have to use 2 more nights. So that's exciting.
So they're using all 4 fields.
All 4 softball fields, 1-4, 2 nights a week. They're playing Mondays and Wednesdays. And then they may use Tuesday or Thursday for rainouts.
Is it a men's league, women's league?
It's just
mixed
women's.
league? Okay, it's just.
Just the
women's.
women. Men's league hasn't been around for a while. But John Frankel is organizing that event. So, but he made his request very early. The women are excited. So I hear from him. I haven't been in touch with them, but I'm sure they are. They've been out of the park for a while, 2 years.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Sorry that was so long ago.
Not at all.
Lots of exciting stuff going on.
Yes, there is. It's really nice to see the park going to be busy.
That's what we want.
Yeah, the nice days we had, it was swarming down there in Newell.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think it was pretty busy at Wilbur too. I drove through Wilbur one time, there were quite a few people.
Well, I see the most, the number of people, if you're driving to Wilbur, or are parking along Center Street. I don't, is it open now?
Yeah, it's open.
Oh, it is, okay. And I did notice at the gate, someone pulled one of the iron.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if someone there
Do you
did
think-
or
or do you
what
think it-
happened. I don't know. but I
Something
heard it was,
happened to it.
And the whole Wilbur Park sign was blown off. I think it was the storm that blew that off. That was reported to us that it was down.
But the other, anyway,
Yeah.
so when did it finally open? Because I know Saturday. Did it open today?
I thought they opened it on the weekend, for the weekend. It wasn't open Saturday, the upper level?
I don't recall it being open. I thought. it
Well,
was-
then that's my bad. I thought that they had opened it when they opened the lower level. Maybe they didn't open the upper level.
Yeah.
I know we opened the lower level, so Warwick.
Right, so they can get through.
Oh, just could use the tennis courts and
Tennis
there'd be
courts.
accessibility. Maybe they're waiting to open the upper level. Usually you don't open it till around April 1st.
Mhm.
But I thought that they were, I'll check on it. I'll let you all know. So,
Okay.
There's lots to be done in the parks, obviously. There's trash everywhere and from the typical, and lots of tree limbs and stuff down. But we'll get cleaned up. There's an emotion.
Do we have any other organizations that would be willing, maybe through SUNY Oneonta, that could come down and help with the
I
park
have,
cleanup?
I
on
have
both
reached,
parks?
I have reached out to, sorry, his name leaves me, he's with Harvard College to, and I let him know that we have a couple of projects in the park if he's looking for activities. So,
Yes, we just launched our.
we have a painting project and we have some cleanup projects that we could use student help with if they're interested.
Yeah,
So,
because they just launched their One Whip Worldwide, which is a service project. And I bet having those opportunities for them.
usually they reach out to me, so I'm sure they will. I'm
Good.
sure they will.
They
So,
should.
I think Linda Drake too is at SUNY. She usually coordinates volunteers.
I will get in touch with Linda.
I'm sure she could drop.
If we
something
don't
off.
get anything from this, from her, I will reach out to Linda. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's helped us in the past. She's
Yeah, they're always looking for
pretty
staff.
easy to work with too.
Mhm.
So,
Good.
yeah, she's very.
Well, if we don't have any other further business, I think we can. Someone would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Maybe we don't want to adjourn. Okay, thank you. And